And now we move on to the last remaining item on this agenda, this part of the agenda, and that's the Heathcote River Dredging Stage 1 report. And can I hand over to you, Pauline, as the chair of the committee?
Yeah, thank you. As you said, this came through the ITI committee on the 12th of February with the recommendation to approve Stage 1 of the dredging. There's 3 stages. Approve Stage 1 to be fast-tracked to begin in financial year 2018, and the funding source is by staff reprioritising projects and existing budgets. And so, as we know, the dredging program is actually designed to deliver flood risk reduction to the Heathcote, and partially the committee asked their staff to go and have a look at moving that Stage 1 forward, and also looking at the possibility of moving Stage 2 and 3 forward. And this is partly in response to a petition that we received at the end of November from people from the community in Heathcote, and we like to think that we respond to people, and we are very aware of the terrible situation that people are in down there. So apart from reducing the flood effects down there, the dredging of the river will also maximise the effects of the new storage ponds in the upper Heathcote, and that's a lot of money being spent up there. So it seems just logical to actually do both projects more or less in alignment as affordability dictates, so that we get the maximum benefit for the Heathcote. So that's why we wanted to look at accelerating it. But it not only reduces the flood risk, but also improves the landscape of the river corridor. It will enhance the Inanga spawning sites, and bringing the program forward is a better time fit for the whitebait season as well. And I note in the report that we've been very careful to manage the environmental impacts, and staff are working really closely with specialist aquatic ecologists to mitigate any adverse effects. So bringing Stage 2 and 3 forward as well, staff have looked at this and found that they can recommend this to be done, but funds will have to be found through substitutions in the LTP, and I guess that information will come forth in due course in the LTP discussions. So the committee was unanimous in supporting this.
Sorry? You're happy to move, Tim, and seconded by... No, you can't second it, Dave. I'm sorry. Sorry, seconded by Phil. Okay, right. Dave.
Peter's done a little bit of work, and he's got a little presentation here if you'd like to see it around the dredging. It just will remind you of all the aspects of it, which we'll go through quickly. We are wondering, or we are recommending, if you approve number 3 there, approve the acceleration of the dredging stages 2 and 3, we are wondering whether then we can approve the delegation to let Stage 2 as well, because if you do bring it forward, we will be trying to get that possibly into the market and let by July. And so that would be an acceleration depending on the substitution, and it would just mean that we wouldn't have to then write another series of reports, bring it up through ITI and through council if that was approved by council here today. Peter's got some proposed wording at some stage, but again, we'll just put that up there. Is it coming up there now?
Yes, it's gone up there now, I think.
I think only Stage 1 and 2 of the dredging works, because Stage 3 is still 8 or 9 months away, so we've got plenty of time to do the reports for that. But it was only Stage 1 and 2, so I'll just leave that for you to think about, and maybe we'll just quickly go through.
Would you like me to go through the presentation?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay. Look, it's just very quickly. I know that we've been through this a number of times. But just reminding again of the earthquake effects, increasing vulnerability and frequency, and we've seen that again recently. So the dredging is part of the whole package of works. We have never been talking about them in isolation, so we've got the storage, we've got the flood intervention policy, which is being enacted currently, the dredging, the bank stabilisation, which is currently in construction, and the low stock banks, which will be consulted on later this year. And the approach was to break this down into manageable chunks, and storage is certainly a key component, but all of these are needed to really bring the benefits. Just a reminder on the benefits, so pre-earthquake, there was a pre-existing very large flood problem, 175 properties at risk of above floor level flooding. That did jump up with the earthquakes by a total number of 50, but that was actually 100 new properties. With the storage alone, we dropped that significantly, but it's really with all of those other things such as dredging, the flood intervention policy, that we're bringing that down to a much lower number than what it was pre-earthquake. So having a very significant impact. In terms of the dredging, there is other benefits as well to just floor level flooding. There's reduced road flooding, bringing that back to similar to pre-earthquake levels, reduced underfloor flooding, and it reduces the impact of sea level rise over time up to approximately 1/4 of a metre of sea level rise, which might be in the order of 30 to 40 years. It's an unknown, but it does provide some early mitigation of that. So just on the proposed dredging staging, it's hard to see on the screen, but in the report it's clearer. So the first stage is from Woolston Cut to Radley Street. So the dredging Woolston Cut is a separate project, part of the whole package, but that is underway currently. So we're looking to begin stage 1 as soon as possible, followed or possibly slightly concurrently with stage 2 from Radley Street up to Opara Road. So that's a stretch through Clarendon and Richardson Terraces there. And then the third stage we're looking at is from Opara Road up to Hanson Park and possibly a little bit further. There's approximately 20,000 cubic metres of material to be removed in each stage, so overall about 60,000 cubic metres. So that's just to give you an idea of the staging that we're looking at, and that's essentially all we wanted to talk about today, just to give a brief rundown on that.
Very good, thank you. All right, are there any questions? Yanni and then Dion.
Yeah, thank you. I just understand that you're seeking an additional delegation in regards to stage 2. In the report, there's comment of talking with MKT and with Tunai Tuahereri. So just, they obviously seem to be quite concerned, and I know that the first section doesn't have as much cultural impact as the stage 2, so how are you going to work that through if we agree to the extended delegation?
Yeah, so we've had those existing discussions with them, and those will be discussions that we have ongoing, especially once we've got a bit better idea of the sort of exact timing and staging of that. We can talk a bit more about specifics of things we might need to do to mitigate that. Certainly getting them involved, maybe having their blessing as well of this, identifying any locations where there might be archaeological artefacts and so on. So working with them once we've got those more details of their staging.
Will that be required as part of the consenting process?
No.
We're actually using existing consents,
right.
So, but it's something we want to do to ensure that we're certainly working closely with them.
I think that's the concern that they've raised, is that there's no discrete consent, it's a global consent. Just the second question I had was, it came up this morning, but just wondered, and maybe we can't get an answer today, but is there a Heathcote catchment stormwater plan that's been developed? Because I guess one thing I don't quite understand from this dredging work and from all the work that's going to happen in this river corridor, how are we ensuring that we're improving and dealing with the stormwater issues at the same time? Yeah,
so the Heathcote Stormwater Management Plan is in development. That's mainly dealing with the discharges before they get to the river, and that'll be dealing with things like coming from roads, roofs, industrial discharges, catchment in terms of sediment runoff and so on. So this is more, I guess, dealing with all the stuff that has come into the river. So certainly there's a lot of work being done to improve the discharges, and I can point to things such as Bells Creek, the storm filter that will be completed by the middle of this year, the Cashmere Worsley basins, Eastman, Hoonhay basins. So there's a number of very large projects going on now to treat a large proportion of that catchment. In the sort of upper areas, the retrofit on the in the mid-lower reaches will take time, but there's certainly a lot of funding in the LTP put forward to deal with that.
Right, okay. And just the final question I had was, the petition also made reference to the maintenance, and I know it's been an issue that I'm sure you're aware of, that a number of residents have raised concerns around the way in which the current system's working. Just can you just give us a really high level snapshot of the plan to fix the valves that seem to be allowing water coming up, and also the stone gabion baskets at the Power Bridge, which people have raised concern about?
Yeah, so in terms of the flat valves, quite a number of those have been maintained, and I have spoken to various people along the river who have noticed the difference. So that's just fixing up some of those. They are quite old, so as well as just doing that routine maintenance and identifying, I've been asking residents to let us know when they do notice it so we can go and repair those. There's also a renewals project to go through and actually renew those to put in more robust ones, so that's underway. And we've passed on the issue with the gabions to roading, as it's a roading asset to address.
My understanding they've got them on the maintenance program to be sealing. I think we sent out an email just prior to the last event. We didn't think that we would actually have, it's a bit more complicated than what they thought, so we wouldn't have got it done for this last event that was a week ago, but it's certainly on their schedule and they've got a work plan to address it.
Okay. Dion?
My question was around the silt disposal. I got a memo saying that you guys were still looking at investigating some cheaper options about the silt disposal. Have you got anywhere with that?
So currently our budget's based on either having to take it to Burwood or a fraction of it to Cape Valley. So that's what our budget's based on, just for to be conservative. However, we are looking at options for disposal sites, some of them around the existing wastewater treatment ponds, some areas which have become hummocky since the earthquakes. The material that would be put there would be safe for recreational contact, so it could be used, would obviously be capped and so on. So it could be used in some of those areas. That's our preference, because it will reduce our costs quite significantly. But currently we're still budgeting on needing to go to either Burwood or Cape Valley. But we're actively investigating the consenting requirements and talking with our colleagues who manage that land.
And if that money is, or if those savings are actualised, what would happen to the extra savings of budget? Would it go into a program, or is it come back?
Goes back into the program, because this money is taken out. We're reprioritising the land drainage program, which is a $1.2 billion program, and so it would enable us by doing this we are going to delay other projects, and so it will enable fewer of those projects to be delayed.
And what projects have been delayed?
We haven't worked that out yet, and so we're looking at what will give us the best or the least negative benefits, but we believe that this should be getting up top of the list, and so we are progressing them through.
All right, so I've got a mover and a seconder for the resolution, so I'll put that motion. All those in favour say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. It's carried.